Good morning. I'm Jennifer Benjamin, and I am the Vice Chair of the California Board of Accountancy Enforcement Action Committee. It's May 2nd, 2024, and we are in beautiful Burbank, California. We have a new member of the Enforcement Action Committee, and I'd like to introduce Mr. Ben Town. Welcome.
Thank you.
The CBA has provided the opportunity for the public to participate via the WebEx platform. When we take public comments, we will begin by taking public comments from these individuals attending the meeting at the Burbank location. I will then ask the moderator to open up the lines for public comment. You will be allotted up to 5 minutes for public comment. I'm now going to turn the meeting over to Ms. Whiffley. Here.
Alan Gittleson.
Here.
Jeff DeLice.
Here.
Nancy Raytheon.
Here.
David Kroll.
Here.
Chris Tetmeyer. Jason Russell.
Here.
Christine Donnelly.
Here.
And
Here.
we have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Whiffley. A quorum has been established, and the CBA's mission is to protect consumers by ensuring only qualified licensees practice public accountancy in accordance with established professional standards. This mission is derived from the statutory requirements that protection of the public shall be the highest priority for the California Board of Accountancy in exercising its licensing, regulatory, and disciplinary functions. Whenever the protection of the public is inconsistent with other interests sought to be promoted, the protection of the public shall be paramount. Are there any public comments for items not on the agenda?
This is the moderator. If anyone logged into WebEx has a public comment, at this point, actually, we do not have anyone logged into WebEx. If that changes, I will let you know so that we can open for public comment at that time. Are there any comments in the room?
No, there are no members of the public in the room.
Thank you. Then we can close public comment. Is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Now we are going to take a vote to approve the February 1, 2024 Enforcement Advisory Committee meeting minutes. Does any member wish to make a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there any questions or comments from our members? We will now open it up to public comment. Are there any members of the public at the Burbank location who would like to make a comment? Moderator, please open up the lines for public comment.
There are no attendees in WebEx, so no need to open for comment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Whiffley, please take roll.
Jennifer Benjamin.
Yes.
Alan Gittleson.
Yes.
Jeff DeLice.
Yes.
David Kroll.
Yes.
Nancy Raytheon.
Yes.
Jason Russell.
Yes.
Chris Tetmeyer.
Yes.
Christine Donnelly.
Yes.
Ben Town.
Abstain.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Ms. Whiffley. The next item is 2B, a discussion and possible adoption of the proposed 2025 Enforcement Advisory Committee meeting dates.
Good morning. I'm Carrie O'Connor, and I'm the Chief of the Enforcement Division. Agenda item 2B provides members with a list of the proposed 2025 EAC meeting dates. Staff have selected the dates to avoid major and religious holidays. And for your reference, attached is the 2025 calendar that reflects the proposed dates. You may choose to make a motion to adopt or modify the proposed meeting dates, and once those proposed dates are adopted, staff will submit the dates for CBA approval at the May CBA meeting. At this time, I would like to turn it back over to Vice Chair Benjamin and would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Does any member wish to make are there any questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a question. This that we have is what, 24 or 25?
25.
Oh, yeah, I have it 24. Okay. Oh, sorry about that.
Any other comments? Okay, let's take a vote. Does any member wish to make a motion?
I'll move that we adopt the proposed meeting dates.
Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from our members? And I'm assuming there's still no members from the public.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't need to ask for questions. Ms. Whiffley, please take roll.
Oliver Benjamin,
Yes.
Alan Gittleson,
Yes.
Lefta Leiser,
Yes.
David Kroll,
Yes.
Nasi Raytheon,
Yes.
Jason Russell,
Yes.
Chris Tetmeyer,
Yes.
Christine Donnelly,
Yes.
Ben Town.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Ms. Whiffley. Item 3, report of the California Board of Accountancy Liaison, Ms. O'Connor, the Enforcement Chief.
Thank you. At the March 21st, 2024 meeting, the CBA adopted its meeting dates for 2025. Staff reported that the CBA's sunset review hearing took place on March 11th. CBA member Katrina Salazar and Executive Officer Dominic Franzella appeared before the Joint Sunset Review Committee and answered questions related to the CBA's mobility provisions, CPA pipeline, advisory committee vacancies, and the investigative CPA vacancies. As part of the sunset review process, the legislature provided a background paper for the hearing that contained an overview and history of the CBA and identified 13 issues for the CBA to respond to. The CBA reviewed and approved proposed responses to questions from the legislature in the background paper. The sunset review report and the responses to the background paper are both posted on the CBA's website. The CBA discussed activities related to the CPA pipeline, requirements for licensure, CPA mobility, and changes to the Uniform Accountancy Act. The CBA directed staff to continue to monitor the CPA pipeline issues, and staff will provide an update of the pipeline-related activities at the May CBA meeting and hope to have representatives from NASBA, AICPA, CalCPA, and academia at the meeting to provide input. Also, the CBA reviewed and approved a response to one comment received for the proposed regulatory language to eliminate the pre-licensure professional ethics exam and replace it with a post-licensure requirement to complete a regulatory review course for their first CPA license renewal. The CBA adopted the proposed regulations and directed staff to complete the rulemaking file and submit to the Office of Administrative Law. The CBA also directed staff to work with President Rosenbaum to appoint 2 CBA members to work with staff to explore regulatory changes to California Code of Regulations Article 2.5, which addresses license status, and Article 12, which addresses continuing education. The regulatory changes being considered include allow for emerging learning approaches and technologies, increase clarity and reduce repetition, update subject areas, and improve the regulatory review course. We also took a support position on Assembly Bill 3251, which is the CBA's sunset legislation. This bill may include the CBA's proposed legislative proposals that were included in its sunset review report. The legislature will determine what proposals are ultimately included. The CBA will hold its next meeting in person at the CBA office and via WebEx on May 16th and 17th. And at this time, I'd like to turn discussion on this item over to Vice Chair Benjamin and would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. O'Connor. Are there any questions or discussion? Okay, then we'll move on to agenda item number 4, which is the report of the enforcement chief, which happens to be Ms. Carrie O'Connor as well.
Before I get started, moderator, can we just confirm there are no public members present through the WebEx that may have public comments?
That's correct. No,
Thank
no
you.
members. You're welcome.
Thank you. My next item is the enforcement activity report. And the activity report before you today is for the first 9 months of fiscal year 2023-24. The CBA received 4,152 complaints, and the graph on the bottom of page 1 provides a comparison of the total complaints received as of the same reporting period for the prior 2 fiscal years. You will see that compared with the prior fiscal year, we have received a 28% increase in complaints over the same period. Moving on to page 2, we have included information on the top 3 complaint types, with complaints regarding unlicensed activity being the most common. And then we will now move on to investigations and investigations pending on page 3. At the end of the first 9 months of the fiscal year, staff closed over 4,700 cases, with 90% of those cases closed within 1 year. And the average day to close our investigations is at 113 days. We've remained steady at that number for the past several reports. Enforcement had just over 1,500 cases in its pending investigations inventory. And you will see that the average age of our open cases is at 145 days. Of the 4 case investigations pending over 24 months since this report, 2 cases have been referred to the AG's office. 1 case is being finalized to be referred to the AG's office, and 1 case will have an IH conducted today. Discipline-related information can be found on page 4 of the report. Looking first at AG referrals, the CBA referred 24 matters to the Office of the Attorney General and filed 19 pleadings. The CBA had 39 matters pending at the AG's office. And lastly, the CBA had taken disciplinary action on 27 final matters. Moving on to citations and fines on page 5, the CBA issued just over 900 citations, with 83% of those citations for failure to comply with the 20 and 12 continuing education requirement. We received 86 citation and fine appeals, and have withdrawn or modified 47 citations based on those appeals. In most cases, the licensee either provided new mitigating evidence or complied with the issue that resulted in the issuance of the citation. Page 6 contains information regarding unlicensed activity. We had received nearly 1,600 complaints regarding unlicensed activity, and we have closed nearly 2,200 investigations through the first 9 months of the fiscal year, with the majority of those closed as a result of compliance. The last page I have for you is page 7, and that is regarding probation monitoring. We had 70 licensees on probation, with 1 new probationer since the last report and 1 probation orientation completed for that new probationer. We identified 36 probation violations, with the majority being failing to submit the written quarterly report. At this time, I'd be happy to turn the discussion on this item over to Vice Chair Benjamin and could answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms. O'Connor. Are there any questions?
Just go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question on page 2. The renewal deficiencies continues to increase. Is the nature of these the CPE requirement?
Yes, that is correct. It is mostly the 20 and 12 continuing education requirement.
And we're still continuing to see pretty significant growth.
Yes.
Okay. Just
And on the unlicensed activity, while it's been going down the last 2 years, it's down about 40%. Is a lot of it still coming from our one resource outside of the state that's identifying people?
I can't confirm that because these are a lot of open cases, but yes, most of these are the result of licensees not complying with advertising on a specific social media platform.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? I'm assuming there's nobody on the public monitoring. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. O'Connor. Next, we are going to go into closed session. And we can close the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. I will close the WebEx now.